Welcome everyone to another episode of Roll With It Entertainment. I am your host, Brittney Guthrie, and this is going to be a fun one. I'm here with Alexis Dixon, the founder of Camp Canna, and we're going to talk about Camp Canna today. But of course, like we always begin, we want to know what brought Alexis to this industry. What did the plant do? What drew her in? Alexis, thank you so much for entertaining this today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Brittney. Thank you for having me. I love your work and what you do in the space. So I love to be here. Cannabis for me was always a social ritual. I would have a friend. We would get a good doobie. We would know a spot. We'd go to that spot. We would invite more friends. So when cannabis became legal and we were only able to consume it at home, for me, cannabis became really lonely. Everybody had good weed. Nobody was calling their friends anymore. Nobody went to spots. It was just kind of something that you did when you got home after work and kind of just chilled. So I was looking for an experience to go to as a consumer where I could find other consumers. Like I had a daughter. It's hard to find consumer friends. And
Did
when
you
you do
start
find,
smoking weed in your adult years, or did you start in high school?
no, I started in high school for sure. I did take a little bit of a break. When I went to college, I was drinking a lot more. And so the second I stopped drinking and cannabis was, I think I've been California sober for like 8 years. Like that's kind of like something
Congratulations.
there. But yeah. So I wanted to have something to go to, and I found this like adult summer camp that was like pretty alcohol focused, and I just get uncomfortable around people that drink myself, so I like don't want to go. I would never go to a festival that's like heavy alcohol, or even like Big Valley Jamboree is huge here in Alberta. Even the Stampede I've never been
You
to.
say the
Like
Stampede
it's just
wild.
like it's just not my vibe. So I was like, oh well, maybe this should be like a cannabis thing. Like I wonder if you could do this, but like have cannabis brands there, and like so I can get to know them. Because back in the day, I knew my guy so well. We would like, I would go visit, we would smoke one. He would roll up all my weed for me. So I'd have pre-rolls, like before pre-rolls were pre-rolls. And like, that was like special. And so, yeah, then I was like, all right, let's just do Camp Canna. So I guess like for me, it was just the social. Weed has always been social.
Yeah.
Legalization was supposed to feel like it was free, but it was just kind of like more of a box. And then I was like, well, I just need to fix the box then.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be social in
Yes.
that
I was living
aspect.
in Calgary actually, pre-legalization and then kind of entering it. And that's when I went back to BC. I went back so
Yeah.
fast. I was like, if this is really happening, I'm going to go do this in BC. But
Yeah.
it was quiet out there. I remember in Calgary, like 420, I would smelling the air, like where is the 420? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So quiet. And maybe that was because we were transitioning and it was just a bit of a weird time. People didn't know if they should be loud and proud about it or wait this painful process till it is legal. So I definitely a need in Alberta for that, in every,
Yeah.
especially Alberta. Like I did not know. It was very like incognito. Hey, do you smoke weed? Like,
Yeah. It was
know?
the same. The
And then,
same as pre-legalization. It like didn't
yeah,
change at all, except now you could have it. But because everybody could get it, like it was so accessible, it just no longer became something you shared with your friends. And that was like, so they were doing it at home, right?
yes, yes.
Yes.
I'm curious, have you always been drawn to the service hospitality space?
Yeah, I guess so. My grandmother growing up used to host a festival. And I helped her growing up always. It was very alcohol centric. It was called Arizona Horseshoe Tournament, and it's like a
Cute.
sporting event, I guess. It's like little discs that you throw, and oh, she would go crazy with it. Like I channel my inner Linda Bullock like every year I do Camp Canada, because it's like she has like tournaments and like men's, women's, doubles, like the whole thing. And basically you would go and do a shot of alcohol like at the shooter bar. Everyone would bring a 2-6. And then they would go and they had all of these different kinds of shooter recipes like written on the shooter bar that they like built. It was so cool. It was just like a cool thing that they used to do. And they'd play these tournaments, they'd have talent shows, they'd bring out entertainment. And I don't know, it just felt like so natural to be in that state. So then when I was like, I could host a festival, like for sure. I've been doing this shit since I was 4 years old. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
something I could
amazing.
totally do. And yeah, it's actually so nice because it's a camp exactly of what I would want as a stoner, but like all the other stoners are showing up. So that's like the fun part of it. And yeah. So I
That's
guess I've never
that's
actually
like your
like
grandma
worked.
leaving you her secret recipe or
Oh,
something. You know what I mean? It's
100%.
like the
Yeah.
recipe for successful
And it's
events.
like a
That's cute.
compliment that I take such pride in. Like when people are like, wow, like you're even like the WestJet agent when the Vibe Tribe's traveling, they'll be like, wow, you're like so organized. And I'm like, I'm so type B. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For
No, that's
when people think everything was thought of. And it's like, yeah, that's Linda Bolak.
That's amazing. No, that's really
Yeah.
sweet. I didn't know that. And like that's
Hmm.
not as common. Like I hear a lot of stories doing what I do, and
Hmm.
it's not often that it was something from your grandparents or your parents that was
Hmm.
inspired you. A lot of times you're unfortunately having to part ways because of the difficulties of the industry we're in and what we
Yeah.
do. And obviously she wasn't focused on cannabis, but she was community, and that is what you
Yeah.
love cannabis, right? Is
Yeah, totally.
carrying the good times with your grandma and that
Hmm.
festival into what we deserve as healthy,
Yes.
happy, safe consumers. So I want to hear a little more about the dignified consumer side of things. So how did that?
Yeah, so even just like going off of the Arizona Horseshoe Tournament, like that was also dignified. Like from a very small age, I've seen alcohol be like a method of celebration, a method of like things to get you through hard times. Like, and it was never like, oh, I have a hard conversation, let's have a drink, or oh, hey, I just got engaged, let's have a drink, or like we're celebrating in our community and we love each other so much and we're all drinking. And like that to me was like, okay, but then when alcohol wasn't a tool for me that could be productive and it actually became like a disconnect from community, then I was like, well, how do I incorporate cannabis in like a community setting to have that, take over from there? So like it was almost like, why can I not be dignified in my cannabis consumption? The same way people are dignified in whatever consumption it is that they choose. Like nobody bats an eye at a wine mom. Nobody. And
No.
it's like, why can't I be the mom that shows up smelling loud? Like, why can't I be the mom that's like celebrated for having a cannabis beverage, instead of that? Like when I think of parenting, especially, I have a 9-year-old girl. She's exactly me, but unhinged. So pray for me. But pray for the world, honestly. It's gonna be wild when she's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I take a very different parenting aspect than most parents, I think. Like I am strictly bumper guards. I'm here to relay information. It's her life. She's going to choose whatever she wants to do, however she's going to do it. There's no stopping her. I know because she's me. And there was no stopping me. It was either I was going to do it with you knowing, or I was going to do it without you knowing, and there was no chance of you finding out. Like I was so good at it as a child. So for me with Everly, it's like I want you to have options. I want you to know the options, but I also want to be that kind of parent that can like allow you to make mistakes. And I can do that when my state is in a good state. So I use cannabis to keep mood regulation. That's a huge thing, especially dealing with like childhood trauma and stuff like that. Like you don't want to pass that down onto your kids. So cannabis wholeheartedly makes me a better parent. But I don't think people can say that about alcohol at all. So it's like alcohol doesn't make you a better parent. And I'll put my name on that. It definitely doesn't.
It
Where
makes you
cannabis,
concerned about not being a better parent is almost the effect with alcohol. Is
yeah.
it's very temporary, right?
And just like there's too many options for you to get triggered and take it over the line. And like that just doesn't happen. I don't find that with my experience of cannabis. So I thought it was kind of like a grave injustice. Like, why is the wine mom celebrated, but I'm not? Like, if their child got hurt, can they get them to the hospital? Are they with it enough? And that to me is like huge, like as raised by somebody where alcohol was like very predominant in my upbringing. And so, like, how do I kind of create this different like lifestyle for Everly? Like in our house, cannabis is dignified. The other day, it's a funny joke. I'm gonna say it, Nikki. I'm sorry. The other day, Nikki's son I had a migraine. I wasn't doing good. I wasn't feeling good at all. And then I also was a little bit sick after I got back from grow up. My lungs, like I couldn't like inhale a hoot, and I fucking hate it when I can't smoke. Like
Yeah.
it's like I need it for my brain. And so anyways, I was able to have like a tiny low temp jab that day. So we're picking up the kids, and Archer asked me, he's like, "So, how was your day?" And I was like, "Oh, I was able to have like a tiny hoot, so I'm feeling much better today." And then he's like, without even missing a beat, "Ooh, we love a nourished queen." This is a 12-year-old boy. This is like, you know what I mean? Like, because in our house, we're nourishing our
Yeah.
systems. In our house, it's medicine. In our house, it's a plant, it's a tool. It's the same way we could use lavender to calm us down at nighttime. It's like in our house, that's how it is. So I really just like got behind dignified consumption so much because we have an entire generation of children that it's only ever been legal in their lifetime. So I hope when they do get to the point where they can participate, they have dignified consumption and they know that it's not just alcohol. There's so many other things in this life that can give you an experience that you're looking for that doesn't come with like the negative side effects
Yeah.
in life. So yeah, sorry, I'll ramble forever. That's
No,
just
I
what I
love it. I love it. I love how open you are. Like
Mm,
it's not often that, humans will be as transparent as they are with their
mhm,
relationship with cannabis.
mhm,
Clearly you understand your relationship with cannabis, which since legalization, and I'm not in no way blaming this on legalization, but since legalization, there's been so many more gatherings, and you see people start to lose themselves in the weed and the pressure, and a lot of times you have to take those breaks, or some people are quitting altogether because they're just like it overdid it, and it's all
mhm,
about high THC. And it's like, not if that becomes your job and now you have to be under some sort of influence for your job, like it becomes dangerous and it impedes in your personal life, right? Like you have to have a really healthy balance with this. So I
100%.
appreciate you being transparent. I'm a new, called bonus mom. I don't like stepmom, but bonus mom.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of creeping out into the world a little bit and looking at it in a new lens, right? Being more
Mhm,
conscious of where I'm putting my stuff, how I'm hiding it, how we're having those conversations. And
mhm,
but it is nice to talk to other moms that have kids, and how you've brought it into the home, and
mhm.
like, can I ask how old your daughter is?
She's 9.
9. Okay. And
Yeah.
does she understand what cannabis is? Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah, and she has
something
for
that she won't
years.
have access to until she's an adult, and that's kind of
Yeah.
like how
Yeah. So,
do
well,
you have the
not
conversation?
even like, I don't even throw those words at her. I'm not telling her she doesn't have to be an adult. It's been medically proven that children can benefit from CBD with growing pains. So,
Hmm.
right now, she will use like a CBD stick if her like growing pains are too bad because she understands that Tylenol can cause things for your body if you're using it too often. And so she kind of learns like to listen to her body and tell me like, is this a Tylenol issue? Is this a bath issue with Epsom salts? Is this like there's multiple options, but ultimately it's her body, it's her choice. She will let me know what is available. And so to me, it's like not a matter of like, would I let my kid do I tell her it has to be to a certain point? I explained to her like all medicines, your body has to develop for it to be a benefit to you. There's always side effects to everything that you take. So you just have to make sure that you have all of the information, you make the right choice for you because I don't know what her body is feeling, she does.
Yeah.
And so that's something that like I don't know, that kind of autonomy is something I've always been super pro in children, especially like even just like, oh, I don't want to give you a hug when I leave. Perfect. That's consent. Consent is sexy. So with cannabis, that's something that like there's nothing wrong with me being like, oh no, I don't smoke distillate. No, thank you. I don't smoke distillate. I won't smoke distillate because it doesn't work for my body. And
Hmm.
there's no shame in that. And there's like different types of products that are being made today that like may work for you, may not. Cannabis is not a one size all thing. So my daughter knows that as well, that it's not just like, yes, I'll do a dab. But if she's like starting cannabis as a 25-year-old or 18-year-old, she knows that a dab is different than a joint and an edible. And she knows to ask in our house, like, hey, there's this can of pop in the fridge. I don't see a label on it because we always have legal products in places that she can see so that she knows, like, this is a cannabis beverage. I can't have this, or I have to talk to my mom about it. But even I'm finding, like, if we bring home like baked goods from somewhere, she will double check. She'll be like, "Hey, is this good for me to have?" Yeah, no problem. That's great.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like, I, as a child, knew not to drink alcohol. It was just something that, like, I was told it's not for you, it's for adults only. And it kind of became something that I like looked forward to because I couldn't have it. It was like something that I like snuck when I was 14, or like, did that thing because it was just like such an anticipated, I can't wait until I'm old enough to join in.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I don't ever want to instill. Everly is Indigenous, and her family suffers a lot with addiction. And so that's something that I just want to never make it be like this big old thing, like, oh, well, when you're 18, you can consume cannabis. No, when your body is needing it, or needing to
Yeah.
be nourished, your body will let you know when
Yeah,
it's
you're not
time.
going to put braces on straight teeth. So,
Exactly. So
you
if it's
know,
something that you're dealing with, like, as a parent, I don't mind. I just want her to come to me first. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
beautiful. Yeah, I definitely like your outlook. I think that's very fair. Kids are really
Hmm.
smart. I can think back to memories when I was like even 3 and 4 years old.
Hmm.
Right? They're learning, they're absorbing, and they may not be able to communicate with you, but it doesn't mean they're not understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, better to be transparent and not hype it up to be something that they have to overdo, like we did with alcohol. Because I
Oh,
think
100%.
the first few times I drank, it was like you buy a 2-6 and slam it all in one go, right? That's how
Yeah,
you
that's
drink.
how it works, I think.
That's what the teenage boys told me.
Exactly.
So I guess I'll listen to them.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so
But
yeah,
it's
we
like
hope we're
glorifying being
safer space.
impaired is like just not part of my parenting plan. So like for me, I'm never like, I don't know. I don't even think I get really impaired from cannabis anymore, but like I've never been impaired in front of Everly, like, ever. So that's something that's like, I'm always with it. I'm always able to figure out what's going on. Sometimes I'm a little more creative. Sometimes I struggle with putting together the craft project, but like we laugh about it and we giggle and we move
Yeah.
on. So it works.
I always say work high, edit sober.
Fair.
Even if it's just posters or whatever, it's
Yeah,
the
exactly. That's a good
creative
one.
side will come out, but I will always edit sober and just catch those
Hmm.
last spelling mistakes that us
Yeah.
millennials just can't help.
Hmm.
Well, that's really cool. And coming from the BC side, to me, Dignified Consumers, it's like a movement.
Hmm.
Kind of, it's
Yeah.
the purpose that it needs to serve, and it may adapt as time goes on. Like maybe we will actually
Yeah.
see real cannabis lounges pop up with an outline and a structure and expectations from even Health Canada on
Yeah.
the standard proper standards. Because right now it's loosey goosey with
Yeah.
people renting office space. It's
I mean, that's something that I like take a lot of pride in. Like from year one, we created a framework, and the framework is easily copy and pastable. And we prove it with every single province we move into, because nothing about our program changes. However, the experience is so different depending on what province you're in. So it's like, but nothing, we don't change a thing. It's the people that show up are just different, and
yeah,
they have different outlooks, and the cannabis is different, and the history of the cannabis in that area is different. And so, but at the end of the day, no matter who comes, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, where you grew up, what you came from, how much you make, none of that matters. All that matters is the weed. So it's kind of nice to like meet on like a common ground in a place where you're encouraged to say hi to your neighbor. I moved in with Nikki this summer. Nikki, when I'm at home, I don't want to talk to my neighbors. I don't talk to my neighbors. I'm just like part of that generation that doesn't call. I'll text someone. I'll just like whatever. But Nikki will say hi. So our neighbors are moving in. Nikki's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Nikki." She's like, and I'm like hiding. I'm like,
she's there
"Stop."
with the cup of sugar.
Like, oh my God, now they're gonna know who we are. But it's like at camp, it's like so encouraged to say hi, get to know people. It's kind of like going back to the 90s almost, like where
Oh,
you used to be like that chippy, like happy, hi, I'm this person, let's get to know you. And the only thing that matters is we all love weed. So it's kind of like nice because then the movement of dignified consumption is simply what dignified consumption means to me is having respect for the plant, having respect for yourself, and having respect for the people that share the circle with you. And I think that that is something that we've almost lost in modern day society because we're
Mhm.
so used to the dopamine hits of social media and like everything else and kind of being reclusive and like building that kind of reclusive life where you have your circle small, you keep your circle small and you like do those kinds of things. But like what happens if you just show up exactly as you are and you are radically accepted for 48 hours?
Yeah.
Like, how does that change your life? How you speak to yourself, how you use the plant, how you treat other people. And that's kind of where this dignified consumption movement has come in, and it's so much bigger than whatever I thought it would be. Like I at first was like, oh, I love this. It's a mindset. It turned into something we use in marketing, but it's not a marketing term. And it's something that I'm seeing other events throw on as a marketing term, which is great. I love that the term is being used.
Guilty.
And it's
But
something, it's
I love it.
something where
I'm not trying to steal it. I genuinely
no,
believe
and
that
it's
is
something
the
that
terminology for it.
and when we become like when it becomes like our regular language, it's something that we look for. Like an example is having ashtrays out, having things like just planning for consumption, showing a little bit of respect to the community. And it kills me when I show up at events that don't have dignified
Dude,
consumption.
you'd think ashtrays was not too much to ask.
Bare
The amount of
minimum.
times.
Thank God I had one in my
Yeah.
backpack. That's all I'll say. It's
Yeah.
like I shouldn't have to bring an ashtray to your cannabis event. Like I shouldn't have to. And it's like in those cases, we got to start thinking about that as like our standard. And
Yeah.
that's something it's 2026, especially in BC, known around the globe. Let's make sure that we have dignified consumption.
Yeah.
And in Alberta, it's an expectation now, which is really nice. Like we've done a lot of work over the last 5 years. I do see out of province events come here and don't think that consumption is important. And then it doesn't do well because they either are in a place where it's not permitted to consume in public and everybody's consuming in public anyways, which just like looks bad on the industry as a whole,
Yeah.
or it's doing a disservice for our consumer market as a whole because they are kind of like living in this world where dignified consumption exists and they kind of have built this expectation around it, which is great because that's kind of what I want the whole world to be like. So it'll come.
Honestly,
Coming,
it will. And I just, my fear is that something really horrible has to happen to kickstart this dire need. You know what I mean? For this expectation of people. Cause like, I think you and we've experienced some pretty unpleasant things in these settings sometimes because people get in over their head. You know what I mean? They're like, oh,
Yeah.
it'll be easy. Just provide the space and we'll all smoke weed and hang out. But what happens when somebody slips and falls? What happens when somebody passes out? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens
Mm-hmm.
when there's cross contamination? Like, who's monitoring these dab rig mouthpieces? Like, how are, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many questions left unanswered and there's no pressure on these
Mm-hmm.
people. Anyone can just pop up a table and say, yeah, I run a dab bar, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very concerning to me because you go to a bar, we're used to double or single. We're used
Right.
to 6 or 9 ounce glass of wine. Like
Yeah.
we kind of understand there's a bit of structure there and that they
Mm-hmm.
have a due diligence to keep us safe if something does happen because they're obviously under the microscope too.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, I
really
think
think that pressure gets put on us all, including myself and my team running events and lounges is like, I welcome it. You know, I want them
mm,
to see how successful this is. Government, come on, get your stupid little cut and let us just go.
just give me a license. Dang it. I
Yeah.
guess that's where we are pretty lucky. Like 2 years ago, we got the very first public permit for a cannabis event in Alberta, which is like a little bit different than your regular trade show public permit because it had all unlimited consumption all throughout the grounds, like from the moment you walk through the gate. There is no consumption area. And that's something that I will stick to. And I
Okay.
will never, ever host an event where you have to be in a box or a smoke pit or something like that. Um, but it's something that I'm pretty vocal about and I'm starting to get vocal about because it is up to me what venue I choose. It's up to me if dignified consumption is available or not. I will either put in the work to find the venue, as we saw with BC, or I won't host the event there because that's just it's if you're gathering consumers, if you're gathering the industry, especially like that's such an important part. It's such an important ritual. Like it just kind of has to be, it is your choice. You either choose to have it or you don't. And I guess that's kind of nice because we've had that framework because you have the framework with the DAB bar. You do become a trusted resource
Mhm.
for the industry. And now I'm seeing like there's new events that pop up and sometimes my partners will run them past me and they'll be like, hey, I heard about this. It sounds great, but can you tell me if this is like good, like compliant, or is there anything I should be cautious of? And it's kind of weird to just be a consumer that's never worked at an LP or a retailer or hold a license in this industry, but
Yeah.
be the person that they call when they want to go and do a consumer focused experience like that. It's pretty neat and it's quite an honor actually,
Yeah.
because you get to be a little like bring the human back. Um, in a world where you can't promote and market the way that alcohol can, like word of mouth marketing is what you need. And so building a connection, like creating a friend and learning how to influence those friends, like that's a very important skill in this industry. And I find that like because this industry is so hard, um, the people behind the labels often get burnt out and they forget why they're doing this. And that's really my favorite part of camp is that you get to put the face behind the label, meet the face, and it almost like inspires them a little bit more.
Mhm.
It reminds them why they do what they do. Oh, yeah, it's because I can bring people relief, joy, happiness. Like it's like these are feelings, and they often lose those feelings when they're busy with Health Canada inspections or like something else. So
Yeah.
paying the excise taxes and all of that. So it's kind of that's like my favorite part of it. I don't know. I rambled again.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's funny
Mm,
because we have a lot of similarities and
mm,
so sometimes I just get lost in your stories because I'm like, oh God, okay, I'm not the only one,
no, you're not.
you know, and that's it. Like we're not the only ones, but I
Mhm,
think I think your story is really inspirational because you stuck to what brought you to the weed industry and you didn't sell out to get there. You're like, I'm
mm-mm,
gonna get there my own way, and you're gonna support these brands and retailers along the way, but you don't necessarily need to be biased to one or the other. And that makes you, to me, in my opinion, more honorable, more trustworthy. Because if you're
mm,
a rep trying to tell me that your product is the best one, even if it is, I probably won't believe you. Even if it
mhm.
truly is the best flower on the market, you know what I mean? I'm just like, but it's yours. You know, I want to
Yeah.
hear this from the people, the consumers, like not even bud tenders, but just consumers that know they're not getting a hoodie or anything to smoke this. Like they just chose it and they enjoy
Mhm.
it. So
Yeah.
I don't, that's why I don't do reviews really myself. You know, if I enjoy
Mm-mm.
something, that's awesome, but it's like who cares? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Make that judgment for yourself. That brand, that flower needs to speak to you and your individual endocannabinoid system. So um,
Facts.
anyway, my turn to ramble. Uh, I want to move on to Camp Canada though, because that's really exciting. You started in Alberta, moved to Ontario as well, or sorry, added Ontario on as well. And this year you're coming to BC. So start us off with Alberta. How did the first few years go?
Okay, so yeah, the first well, I decided that I was gonna do Camp Canada and I was looking for a venue for the longest time and I couldn't find what AGLC needed, the RCMP needed, like in this perfect amalgamation of like here's your dream venue, go find it. It's a unicorn. So then I had my kid at the playground and I was looking around of where we were and I was like, wait a minute, this place would work. And then so it was somewhere that I went like all the time. It was just 5 minutes from my house. And the first year we jumped a lot of hoops, like a lot of hoops, but we were kind of stuck in the private sector still, which was okay, but I always operated camp as if it was a public event. I always had my emergency response plans, our framework, our team, everything. And the first year, all of our volunteers didn't show up. So it was me and Jolene and 120 guests. so, so we like voluntold all of our friends to get here, come help us out. And we made it work the first year by like the skin of our teeth. It was so magical. Like it just like it worked exactly how it was. It was like I was saying just this morning on our morning live, like being ready isn't a feeling, it's a choice. I chose that I was doing Camp Canna, that I chose that I was ready for this. And then it was like that was the first domino, and all these other dominoes just started falling down. And Camp Canna was planned and executed in like 3 months, literally first year.
Well done.
Second year, I was like, okay, now we're just going to make little tweaks. We're not reinventing the wheel. We know it rolls. Now we're just like going to add some other wheels to it. And the second year was really, really great. Third year, I was like, let's move provinces. We got to make it bigger. We got to do more.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to move to BC at that point, but I was like, you know what? I feel like BC just understands this kind of experience like naturally. This is a very natural BC experience. So let's go to Ontario because Ontario is the hardest market in weed, I think personally, just to sell your products. It's so big. There's so much event static because there's so much going on. And like you're literally like Taylor Swift is going on this weekend. So are you going to come to Camp Canna or so it was like, it was really freaking hard. Probably the hardest thing I've ever done was launching Camp Canna in Ontario. And backstory, like before cannabis, I worked in global finance. I was a corporate finance manager. I sold insurance rates to business owners. And that was basically like, I was extremely good at it. I held $1 million target. When I tell you Camp Canna, Ontario was the hardest thing I've ever done, it is so hard. And I worked through recessions. I worked through COVID. There was 18% interest rate on a farmer's equipment. So at the end of the day, it was really, really challenging, but we made it. We didn't have enough people for the venue year one. And then the venue was like, you know what? I really believe in this event. We're just going to let you do it without the minimum. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. There was so much stress. But then we got there year one and it was amazing. Even with only like, I think we had like 50 people year one. Amazing. And then the second year we had 102 guests. And so we doubled our attendance year two. Word of mouth marketing has always been our best market. So we just really had to put it on and just make it happen. And so then after that, when we were running both of them together, this like mindset in myself, like in business, is like growth for me changed. And it was like I used to always worry that people weren't going to show up. And it was like, okay, I can get all these brands to be here, which was a challenge in itself because brands were not, even some still are not, focusing on consumer marketing. And that's like,
I know.
I don't get it.
No.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And I can't tell you, I will say this one thing. Brands that only are investing on sampling events are only telling me that I shouldn't buy your weed. That's it. That's just me. If you're not focusing on consumers buying your weed, you're missing the point. That's the point of weed.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, I think that, this year, it's even from last year to this year, huge change. We're not proving our worth to brands anymore. This event is so valuable because you create this organic street team out of advocates of the consumer pyramid. You're not paying $10,000 to go somewhere where maybe 26% of their guests are consumers at all. You're going somewhere where like 100% of the guests are daily consumers who share with their friends and family what they like to consume, because those are the kinds of people that are coming to this type of event at this price point. So it's like quite interesting. I used to worry all the time, what if they don't show up? What if we don't get enough brands? I built it, and so they will come. And that is it. And that's been my mantra. And it's really like shifted a lot of cool things. I was like nervous about BC a little bit. I was like, oh gosh, are we going to do it? This is the year we're launching. And it's been so great. Like everybody has been waiting. They're all pumped. They were all like grateful, even though it wasn't on the island because I really wanted it to be there. But I
Mhm.
didn't want to have another year one of Ontario where I bite off a huge camp with minimum guests and then not be able to grow as I grow.
Mhm.
So this year we went with a smaller camp in the East Kootenays. We can have about 150 guests out there. It's going to be our most intimate gathering yet. We're like halfway there already, so I'm really, really excited for that. It's going to be beautiful. It's got its own lake, and we're bringing our chef from Alberta. That's been like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, I dream about our Alberta chef's food like all year long. And yeah, it's just going to be so fun and so like I love it because it just naturally comes together with what the people want and
What
what the
kind of
people
food are you
have.
serving out there? It's an important question. I need to know.
Yeah, so Rusty runs the Harvest Eatery out of Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. He's a fine dining chef. He does like soul comfort food. He's like famous around the world. He has the 26th best burger in the world, and he's a Golden Plate winning chef. So like my favorite last year in Alberta was like the elote. He has some like Mexican inspired dishes. He's had
Mm.
Filipino inspired dishes, which pork sisig. Oh my gosh, I've literally never tasted anything better. And then his barbecue food is really good too. So if you're into like the brisket or the stuff like that, so good. And yeah, it's important that
Yes, I was
we're
gonna
fed
say,
well.
like most successful events that I've seen or done, there's food. Like
Mm,
food almost locks people in more than the weed. A lot of people have weed already. So why are they
exactly.
coming out to the event? And food is so important.
Yes, 100%. So we've been lucky. We've been blessed. Like Rusty's been with us since year one in Alberta. And I swear he's like one of the biggest draws. Like the sound bath is probably close to second for the
Okay.
food. Yeah,
What else do you
which
have
is
going
really
on
cool.
out there? Yoga,
Yeah,
games?
there's, well, we don't call it yoga because yoga is intimidating to some folk, but we all do need to stretch in the morning because we're moving our bodies differently. We've slept on bunk beds that maybe aren't our real comfy home beds. So we do like a little session smoke in the morning, that's run by a yoga instructor. So you can take it as deep or as light as you'd like to. And
Hmm.
then we normally do like a sound bath, get the vibe right for the day. We'll do like there's a high ropes course that'll take a couple classes through, which is pretty cool if you're into that adrenaline type thing. We have a
Up in the
canoe.
trees, like you get harnessed in.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And then there is a canoe trip, some water time. We have the laser show at night, live music. All Nations is going to be there doing like a open jam at night. And I love that part because then you get to see like where all our hidden talents are. Um, and you'd be surprised who has them. I always am. And then Great Gardener Farm is going to be out there this year doing the history of rosin, running a educational dab bar for us. So that'll be really good. And yeah, it's just kind of like all coming together. I'm trying to get into like all camp capture the nug game. So that is on the market. That'll be there too. Ontario's insane. It's like just a globally known camp, and there's so much to do there. Um, and BC is like the happy middle ground between Ontario Lux to Alberta grassroots, where we're like in a field. And so I'm really excited because it's like also close enough for Albertans to join in and come experience BC cannabis tourism, which is great. One of
Yeah.
my favorite things about going to
Parachutes?
BC for. Oh, obviously, yes. Parachute's actually the very first thing we do. Yeah, we get everybody in there. We also do an intro circle at the end before everybody goes home. One of my most special things, our Vibe Tribe Jen runs it. It's a compliment circle. So after you've spent 48 hours with your new besties, we go around and give compliments to everybody. And that's just like the most profound and amazing. It seems so simple, but it like changes lives. It's crazy.
Oh,
It's like I'm always crying on Sunday. It's emotional.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I love about the psychedelic events, like the good
Yeah.
ones, not the festivals, but like, or
Yeah.
the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference is,
Mhm.
it's just about really taking a step back. It's about using less and maximizing what you get out of it and the experience. And it's just
Yeah.
so much love happening everywhere. Everybody's just on the same groove, and
Yeah.
you leave feeling emotionally, spiritually cleansed. Right? Like
Yeah.
after a festival or a good live show, like you know that feeling where you're like loving life for a good couple weeks after.
Hmm.
That feeling.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on locking down a BC spot. How many years were you trying to look for something in BC, if I can ask that?
Well, I think I decided this year, like
Okay.
last year, that we were going to come there, and we did the Vibe Tribe tour of the island, and we looked at a lot of venues on the island, and obviously that's where I thought it would be. I'm from Alberta. We've been here our whole lives. When we go on vacation to BC, we go to the island. That's kind of like where we go. It's either Kelowna
Mm-hmm.
or the island. So
Mm-hmm.
like in my Alberta brain, I was like, well, obviously it has to be on the island. Um, and then when we got there, I was actually so surprised with the lack of dignified consumption on the island. I was mainly, and I understand, due to forest fire risks. And that's like the main thing, which BC, of course, I get it. However, cannabis doesn't burn hot enough to ignite a forest fire. And if we have the proper plans in place, we can come up with solutions to fix that. So the East Kootenays, they were fine with us consuming all throughout the grounds, where all the island venues was kind of like in a 10 by 10 space. So I think once it's kind of like the same as Ontario. Ontario needed us to do it a couple of years in Alberta to prove that nothing bad was going to happen. So I'm just going to kind of use that with BC. And I'm actually really paying attention to BC's legislative changes right now, because BC doesn't have on-site sales. And I thought that BC would get on-site sales, but I think they're about to do something way different, which would completely change the game. So if they do that,
Yeah.
it's go time. I don't know. Like, I don't even,
Something
it's
here though, because the
crazy.
delivery on site little loophole, like it can work. It can work at events. I've done it. I've done it
Yeah.
for last probably 4 years, maybe 3 or 4 years,
Mhm.
maybe three. And yeah, it's been fun, but it's like still you just
Yeah.
feel a little like dirty, like
Yeah.
a little like
But I want
you're doing
to,
something wrong.
yeah, why do we have to meet at the mailboxes at Camp Canna? What? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things. I want to go up to a Smile bar
Mm,
and buy a drink from Smile. That's what I want. I totally want that. Or
there you
Slurm. Yes, there we are. But like that's kind of like where I hope BC ends up. They're really going to be the people to do it.
go.
So,
Well, and in
because
the
the
States
on-site
too, right?
sales in
They're getting cannabis drinks available in spaces now.
I think they're working on just
Or
creating a way for Farmgate to be limitless.
mm,
And
I was
if that
talking to
happens, then you could probably see like you would see a brand set up at an event and be able to like sell their products, which would be it would technically cut out the retailer situation. So in Alberta, we have on-site sales. So what that is the retailer applies for an extension of their store license to cover the area in the event. Now, if their license, it's the same as in the store. So you can't consume, you can't open, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of stuck in that area. And so at camp, we have a bar, and that's our retailer setup. And then you go outside the building and you can consume. Um, but it was different, if it was like a farm gate situation, it
Mhm.
wouldn't be the retailer at all. It could be booths of LPs all selling their
Gotcha,
own products,
directly selling to the
which,
consumer.
yeah, which we could then see like, instead of it being like a Bacardi bar at the hockey game, it could be, a Smile bar, sheesh bar, like something like that. And I think that that's like the most natural progression for cannabis tourism. I'm not sure why, especially because it is federally legal. It's not in sporting events or concerts yet, but hopefully we get there, and that would be sick. I might actually go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I would have loved it. I went to the Seahawks game and I was like, oh, if I could just go buy a weed drink right now, that'd be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, I sneak a weed
Even
drink
just
in
sitting at
everywhere
a
I go.
pub, like I just right, like I don't
Yeah.
want to. and I'm excited, like if this is the way we're going and Smile Brands can have a setup, but honestly, like just to go to Cactus Club and be able to get a weed piece from the bar, like that just
so
really
cool.
that's where I really want to go with this. So
yeah, I just want to go to the hairdressers
to follow. It's the
I want to
beverages
go to
that
the
are taken
hairdressers.
yeah,
Hairdressers and be offered a cannabis beverage or
yeah,
like a
spa.
pottery class. A pottery class. Give me some gummies. Like
on the
I don't
golf
understand why I'm
course.
drinking wine, painting pottery.
yeah. Yeah, you know, we're seeing the idea come to light with some of these events like Camp Canna or like the golfing events. Like you can really visualize and see it there. It's just we need the government and other people to start seeing it and realize, okay, this is actually normalized even in our own community. We found the loopholes, we're doing it anyway, but now let's make it legit and work with people on this. So,
and like that's kind of how we got our public permit. Like we did Camp Canna for 2 years, had no problems. We allowed all the people to come in, the RCMP, the peace officers, everyone, even though I could have stopped them at the gate. But I wanted them to come in to see that we're not doing anything wrong. We are all doing nothing wrong.
yeah.
And then when somebody with stigma complained, her name was literally Karen, so shout out Karen. Karen wanted Camp Canada to be canceled because, in her words, we were gathering dealers and users. And I like gasped. I was like, old language. We don't talk like that anymore. It was so funny. And then anyways, but the peace officer that she called to get us canceled was like, oh no, I know, Alexis, I've been out there, they're not doing anything wrong, it's all legal what they're doing. And then he called me and he's like, you know what, Alexis, I'm just going to give you a public permit so that she stops complaining. And it's like, that's what we do. We got to do it, but we have to do it right. And we have to show the people that we're not doing anything wrong so that when we face Karens of the world with the stigma, we have non-consumers in our corner that are like, wait a minute, no, I know this event and there's nothing wrong with this one. And like, I think that that's like normalizing it so much more than just saying that we love weed. My favorite growing percentage of guests at camp is non-consumers. They're my favorite. I love them. They just like come and they hang out, and there's not a single thing except for the parachute that they can't participate in where like they're left out. You know what I mean? Because they don't smoke. You don't have to be a daily consumer, but some people are daily consumers and maybe their partners aren't. And then they can come and have just as much fun and not be a stoner and still like see how amazing this community is. And then when they go home, they're advocating for those spaces so that they could feel safe. And, you know, that's, I think, so powerful. But
yeah. Is there alcohol permitted during your Camp Canna or no?
My verbiage for alcohol is extreme discretion. We do not serve alcohol, and we would prefer if you didn't bring alcohol. The reason for that is just safety. I have never had an incident at camp where anybody has overindulged on either side. We have a really good, respectful community. We understand knowing our limits and staying within it. But if there were to be an incident, it would be alcohol related in my world. So I think that, like, for me, just even for my own safety, for the safety of my guests, we are in shared living quarters. You are in bunk beds with other people. People that go to bed off of a nice little edible snooze are not enjoying the super loud group that's coming in at 2 a.m., you know, drunk and stumbling. So it's just about, you know, knowing the vibe and maybe just taking a weekend where alcohol isn't the focus, cannabis is, and just seeing what happens. And we also have people that come to camp that are like recovering addicts. And I love that they can come and feel completely safe and not triggered. And that's like something that is hard to find these days, especially when you're going out in social settings.
Interesting. What is the average age that comes to these events? I'm curious.
Yeah, our average camper is 36 years old.
Okay. Yeah, because it sounds a little bit, it's camp, but it's also retreat. And I think
it's like a retreat. It's like a real...
I never had that impression, but now speaking with you, I'm like, oh, sound baths and stretching session.
Yeah, it's like fun. It's like the
Yeah.
most fun you'll ever have in your life, but it's like healing your inner child. It's like healing your burnout. It's re-inspiring you. It's our verbiage is we want you to leave more you than when you arrived. And that is it. And sometimes all you need to do is leave your phone in a cabin and go have fun with your friends for 2 days, and it will literally reevaluate how you see your life truly. It's just so neat and powerful how simple it is just being present. Like really at camp, you don't have to do everything. You do not. We run a full program from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. There's a full program, but you only have to do what you're called to do. You don't have to earn rest at camp. If you want to just chill, just chill. All we ask is that you try your very best to remain present within the camp. And that is just the most powerful part of it all, is just like people being able to just like leave the outside noise for a second and just be themselves. That's
Does it
it.
get pretty emotional?
I find like sometimes people will have like these really profound like breakthrough moments, and like those are kind of emotional
Yeah.
for myself. Like those are pretty emotional, but for the most part, like the breakthrough moments are never from one specific thing. Like it's so crazy. We've ran this like 6 times, I think. This is our seventh. BC will be our seventh time. And sometimes like I expect the breakthroughs to come from like the sound bath or like those kinds of things. But literally the lit trails has like changed people's lives. I don't know. You're out there with your own head. You're out
Yeah.
there with your own head looking at beautiful stuff. Like that's like, or like just even just being included. Like I taught a girl how to swing a bat once. I don't sport. I'm not a
You
sporter.
don't sport.
But she didn't know how to swing a bat, and I was like, well, that's fine, you can still play with us, no problem. So I was like, okay, well, I think this is how I would swing it, so this is how you should swing it. And just being included, and being allowed to be bad at something, you
Yeah.
know that's like people haven't experienced that from childhood, and some people haven't even experienced that in childhood. So I think that that's like, it's crazy, it's insane, it's so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than just an event. Like it is a movement. It's a
Mhm.
gathering. It's like a remembering of what it used to be like, and like how to bring that and incorporate it in today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Well, I love hearing you talk about this. I mean, healing people heals us, right? And that's
Yeah.
part of it is weed isn't the only medicine in the room. Sometimes it
No.
truly is the people I'm around that you could take the weed out. It's just good people being out in nature. We don't do it enough anymore. Even when you sit in your own backyard, you're just staring at the back of somebody else's house. It's not the same anymore,
Or worse, your phone.
Talk about being in a box. What do you think we're living in, people?
Yeah,
Fancy
exactly.
boxes. So get out of them once in a while.
Yeah, 100%.
How would somebody purchase a ticket or reach out to you? How would a brand reach out to
Yeah.
with you?
So we understand that Camp Canna is a little bit outside of some people's regular norm of lives. So we have 2 different ways to register for camp. I've learned there's 2 different kinds of consumers in the world, the ones that want to talk to you and the ones that don't. And that's okay. Both are okay. So if you go onto our website at campcanna.ca, there's like an I'm ready to roll button or register here. That's if you just want to fill out the form and register. We're going to ask like regular standard questions, like as if you're going for a sleepover. We want an emergency contact. We want to know if you have any allergies or dietary restrictions, and then also accessibility or anything that is making you feel uncomfortable. So we can help make sure that you are comfortable when you're there. I have the most amazing team. Best in the biz. I'll say that confidently. Love my team. They are so good at making people feel safe. And that's like the biggest thing. It's the number one quality I look for when I'm building a team is, can you be a safe space for all? So I take that like with the greatest pride. So if there's anything people are concerned about, they can always let us know, and we will do our best to make sure that you're feeling okay. The anxiety that comes from sharing a space with somebody that you don't know disappears the second you step in the room. It disappears the second you get there. But if you want to have a conversation with someone on the Vibe Tribe, maybe answer some questions, maybe you have a group of friends that you want to go with, then you would book a camp concierge call. And this is just like if you've ever stayed at like a all-inclusive hotel before, you'll sit with the concierge. They'll kind of answer all your questions. They can help get you registered into the same cabin, but also like make sure that you know everything that you need to know to have the best weekend of your life. And for our fam that are a little bit far away from the East Kootenays, we have it set up with Sassy Weed to have a bus, a complimentary bus from the Cranbrook Airport. So for less than the ferry, you can fly to Cranbrook and then hop in the bus and it'll take you right to camp. And then back to the airport after.
It sounds like it's really good, even if you're just booking in for an individual experience. Like there's
we have a lot of people come to
along the
camp
way.
alone. Yeah, it's totally supportive. And I take pride in our most solo guests are women. And I find that that is so cool because there's, in a world where we've been taught to never go anywhere alone, they're coming here alone, which I love.
Yes. We're taught a lot of things though.
Yes, exactly.
That weren't really our problem to begin with.
No, they weren't.
Well, that's really so campcanna.ca, and then you guys also are on Instagram.
Yeah, camp.canna on Instagram. We're rebuilding that page. Instagram gods have strucketh down upon us, but we'll get back up there.
Yes, and then you have a Dignified Consumers page as well.
Yes, Dignified Consumers, more just me and my little random things that aren't necessarily camp related.
No, but it's a great way to follow along. I mean, a lot of us are passionate about the same things that you are and that you're working on. So it's okay to
a good little community.
A little bit over here.
Yeah, totally.
No, that's awesome, and it was really a pleasure having you come down to High Score Lounge when you're here for Grow Up. That was
it's so great. I love it. I love the space. Fun. I'm so envious of High Score Lounge, all the places that Vancouver just has had for decades. And it's
you really truly deserve a space like that out there. I trust you completely and your team. It would be a phenomenal place to go hang out and such. So we'll manifest that for you because
I'm manifesting an all-inclusive resort.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm manifesting. I would like to be where global tourists go to experience cannabis tourism, in Canada. I think that's like the huge thing, just because if this environment of Camp Canna could be the example for the world, I think it could change the world truly. And that's kind of like where I'm going in the years to come when I win the lottery of $33 million.
I love it. I think we need to see that retreat style cannabis experiences, things like that, because we've got the psychedelic stuff. It's like we skipped.
Yeah.
Like you go to the hospital or you go on a crazy peyote trip. Where's
what is
the middle ground?
So I think,
especially for people getting off opioids, athletes, people that are leaving really high stress careers, or just have had, huge changes in their lives, especially as adults. We don't have the same support system we do a lot of the times as children when we go through stuff. So where do you go when you need that family support, that somebody cares about you, and still got to pay
and
for
I love the seniors. I love the seniors that come to camp, because some are just curious and they just don't want to do it alone. And I couldn't imagine how lonely that would feel, like, oh, I tell my grandma all the time, you ever want to smoke weed, you give me a call, I'm ready to go. But like, that's not something that all of them are doing. And so, we've had like groups of like, these two ladies, they were in their mid-60s in Camp Canna, Ontario last year, just killing themselves laughing by the fire, having the most fun time ever. And I just think about like how many times they smoked together in secret, and now they're here in front of like all these people and just like having so much fun. And it's crazy. I love it.
No, I love what you're doing, and thank you so much for all the hard work you're doing. It's really, you're doing the good work for the plant, for the country, for the continent, for the world.
Oh my gosh, it takes a village for sure. Yes,
absolutely. And thanks your team too, and thank Nikki in the back there. I don't know if she's still.
Nikki's over there. Nikki, we didn't even jab.
I was like, I put back my slurm drinks here. Thank you, Sweet Tooth. I absolutely love the cannabis beverages.
Yeah, me too.
It's just a different little buzz.
Yeah, it like makes me feel like
fuzzy.
That feeling where people are like, oh, you get home from a long day at work, you make dinner, you crack a cold one.
Yeah.
I get that feeling now. And I'm
Yes.
so happy. I love beverages. That's the greatest thing that ever came with legalization is
Yeah.
beverages.
Yeah.
And I just like love that it's like a regular method of consumption that people are already used to consuming. The more live rosin beverages on the market, the better. I cannot wait for like a full fridge of live rosin. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's so
probably
good.
the most gifted product that I give out
Mm-hmm.
to people because I know no
Yeah.
one in my circle outside of the industry has tried it and they're so curious. And I'm like, you know that feeling when you have a mimosa on a Sunday when you have nothing to do? Like it's
Yeah.
that kind of bubbly feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, thank you
Mhm.
so much, Alexis. Is there anything else you want to share before we go? I know we know what you do now, what you've done, and where to find you. Any messages for the world here before we let loose?
Happy Lunar New Year. Don't wash your hair today or sweep your house or clean your house in any way. I'm wishing you health, wealth, and manifestations to all come true this year. And I appreciate you so much for inviting me on the show. I've been watching you for so long and you're just the best. And that's really all I got. Buy a ticket
How
for Camp Canna.
long?
I'll see
I'm
you
not
there.
that old. Just kidding. All right. Thanks, Alexis. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you, guys. And now you know Camp Canna is coming to BC.
Come to BC.